The war against war. To humans of all lands, I, who am falsely called American, instead of just human, to all regions that have ears to hear, I call out but two words: love, humanity. As all humans equally feel joy and pain, let us fight in unity against the common monstrous enemy, war. We shall unite in protesting against and weeping over the accursed mass murder for which we all bear guilt. Let the general strike be the first weapon. We will refuse service. True heroism lies not in murder, but in the refusal to commit murder. Rather fill all the prisons and all the madhouses of all lands than murder and die in the service of capital. Let us who are fighters join in the war against war. Let us examine the causes and the nature of war, so that armed with the weapon of knowledge and the sharp sword of the mind, we may emerge victorious from the fight. I know of one practical way of preventing war for all time to come. Let there be a law for the presidents, the generals, and the politicians. Whoever forces men into war or provokes them to this mass murder, let them be held responsible with all their property and possessions, and with their own life for the safety and sufferings of the soldiers. It may then be that the nationalists and the war provokers, the presidents and the generals, may wish to carry on a war among themselves, on their own account and at their own risk. Such a war would indeed be welcomed by every pacifist. Then the war enthusiasts would at last of their own free will exterminate one another, and then we should have peace, eternal peace on this earth. But unfortunately they lack the courage, these war leaders, to go themselves into the battle and die the sweet, heroic death. Yet he who does not permit himself to be enthused to death by military music and by the lying legends of the enemy, him they force against his will into the murderer's uniform. Him they order to murder and to rob in the interests of capital. In all wars, the object is to protect or to seize money, property, and power. Thus, there will always be wars, so long as capital exploits and oppresses the people. The capitalist cries out, "Our country is in danger," and wonderfully enough, the working slaves of all the lands abandon their work. They hasten to arms and protect the property of the masters with their own blood. Capitalism has subjected the working class intellectually. Free yourselves from capitalist prejudice. Fight against the capitalist within yourself. Fight against capitalism and you fight against every war, the apparently eternal war of the exploited against the exploiters. It is true that capital is the cause of every war, but the guilt of war rests on our shoulders. It is the working class that makes the conduct of war possible. It is for us likewise to prevent wars. Refuse to serve. Bring up your children so that they will later refuse to serve. So many overlook the fact that in one's own home in the family, war is being spontaneously prepared. Here lies the origin of all war. The mother that sings soldier songs to the baby on her lap prepares for war. Yes, she prepares for war. The father that makes gifts of toy soldiers mobilizes that child for war. The little helmet made of paper will one day be the steel helmet on the head of a soldier, and the child who has practiced with a toy gun, how natural it is that he should in later years shoot with a rifle. The little sword carved of wood will someday become a battle sword that pierces the body of a human. You parents that do not wish that your children should murder the dear children of other parents, remember this. Those children who are educated in love and solidarity, and who are brought up to respect unconditionally the inviolable sanctity of human life, these children will most certainly be unfit for military service. Teach your children that a soldier is a professional murderer, who is trained in murder schools and paid by the state to carry out the most gruesome of crimes, the murder of humans. It lies in our power to prevent, to hinder this most dreadful tragedy. Stronger than all violence, than swords, guns, and bombs, is our spirit, our will. Repeat these 3 words: I will not. Give content to these words, and all wars in the future will be impossible. What then will all the capital of the whole world, what will all the presidents and politicians do when the entire people of all lands arise with the cry, we will not? Mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters, humans of all lands, unite in the war against war.